There is a very famous line from a motion picture in which a young man trying to decide on a career is urged to go into plastics. Well, it may not have happened quite that way for the man you are about to meet, but he did go into plastics and take over the company his father had started. Today, that 57-year-old company, Allied Converters, is remarkable for a number of reasons. It is a thriving organization with customers located literally all over the country. It's headquartered here in New Rochelle, which is in the heart of New York's Westchester County, not exactly known for manufacturing. And it is one of the most environmentally conscious companies in the country, all thanks to the concern and the knowledge of the company's president, who just happens to be a very smart electrical engineer. His name is Richard Ellenbogen.
Allied Converters is a plastic film supplier. We make rolls of film, we do sheeting here, and what we do is we specialize in shipping product very quickly. We use data analysis to figure out what we're going to need at any given time of the year, and we make sure it's there. So when the customers start ordering it, we always have it. We can ship orders within hours of them coming in the door. It shortens their lead time. They have to keep less inventory in their building, and they love it. It makes their life easier.
I know what's interesting is that you have different plastics for different kinds of foods, yes. Right? They're not all the same.
Exactly. This is what's called a co-extruded polypropylene. It's all made at one time, and this has what's called a high moisture barrier, but not much oxygen barrier. And then it will keep the moisture in the food. There are other films we have that have both moisture barrier and oxygen barrier, which are good for packaging things with sugars and things like that, so that it keeps the oxygen out so that the sugars don't oxidize and change flavor.
So it all depends on what you're packing as to what kind of
exactly. And we carry hundreds of different types of film here that we stock in the warehouse downstairs, depending on what the customer needs, according to what they're packing.
So the point is, you don't make the plastic, you buy the plastic, and you then customize it for its eventual use.
Exactly, exactly. If you truly want to do packaging the right way, you have to get the correct product for what you're packaging. It just doesn't work to, some people throw anything in a bag and they think that it's going to work, and then, so we are very specific, and when we ask our customers what they want, and we ask for specs on what they want, and we insist that if it's a new product, that we send them a sample and that they try it and that they approve it. Because there are so many things that can go wrong with food, and you just don't want the responsibility of somebody becoming sick or ill because your customer did the wrong thing. So we insist that they do sample testing of what it is they're packaging, if it's a new product.
Talk to me about what it means to be a manufacturer here in New Rochelle and in Westchester County. There's not a lot of manufacturing that goes on here. You're one of the very few.
You have to understand we're sitting right in the middle of 30 million people, and we do food packaging. And 30 million people eat a lot of food. And there are a lot of bakeries and places like that. And being close, we can project product into that area much more easily being in the middle of it. I mean, some of our customers come and pick up here with their own trucks because it's just easier. They're delivering out to things and the truck is empty. They pick it up on the way back.
As we mentioned, New Rochelle is no longer a manufacturing mecca. In fact, this company is one of the very few successful manufacturers that remain, all of which has made Mr. Ellenbogen very well known and appreciated by city officials.
I'm Noam Bramson, the mayor of New Rochelle, New York, and I've had the great pleasure of working with Rich Ellenbogen for a number of years, and he's clearly one of our most valuable citizens and a true leader on multiple levels. Of course, he's a leader in our business community. He's a leader in terms of contributing to municipal efforts related to sustainability and environmental protection. He's a leader in providing information that is enormously helpful to those of us in the public sector as well as in the private sector. And he leads by example. I mean, the innovative approaches that he's taken at his business, I think, are a model for other manufacturers all around the country. So we're lucky to have Rich Ellenbogen here in New Rochelle, and we can hope that the world will have lots of Rich Ellenbogens working on our common behalf.
We generate a large amount of our electricity on site, which is 3 times as efficient as generating it off site. We recover all the waste heat from the generation. We use it to heat and cool the building year-round. So our gas bills for heating and cooling are much lower than they would be. We have solar panels on the roof, which also help reduce the heating in the building because they recover a lot of the energy that would normally hit the roof and heat the building. We have put in large amounts of insulation into the building, and we've got a very good what's called building envelope that keeps energy from leaking out. And we've also developed a full recycling program to recover all our waste so we don't send anything to a landfill. Electricity delivered to your home or business by the utility, 2/3 of it is lost before it ever gets to your place of business or your home. What these do is we're generating electricity here on site, and we recover the waste heat in this heat recovery unit over here, which allows us to recover about 70 to 75%, 3/4 of the energy content of the fuel, which makes us 2.5 times more efficient than the utility in making our own electricity. That's one of the reasons we've been able to get our bills so low. This makes electricity. This takes the waste heat and uses it to heat hot water. The hot water is pumped up in the wintertime to heat the factory floor. As you notice, it was very comfortable up there today when we were up there. Yeah. And in the summer, we take the hot water and we send it over to these 2 gray boxes. And what these gray boxes are called are absorbers. And they're air conditioners, and they generate cold water, which is counterintuitive to take hot water to make cold water. But where a regular air conditioner uses electricity to do the refrigeration cycle, this uses the energy in the hot water to cause the refrigeration cycle. We recover 75% of the energy content of the fuel, as opposed to 33% when you get it from the utility. These are the inverters for our 50,000 watt solar array that we have on the roof. And solar panels put out DC power, which is direct current. Right. And the United States uses AC power. The utility uses AC power, alternating current. And what these do is these are inverters which convert the direct current into alternating current. And then they go into this breaker panel and they go down to our main distribution panel down on the lower level where they get put back into the system and fed back into the machines.
So you really do get a lot of benefit from the solar panels, don't you?
Yes. This array generates about 53 megawatt hours of electricity a year, or 53 million watt hours of
Boy, that's
power.
A lot. That is a lot.
Yes, it is quite a bit.
I know you focus very heavily on recycling. You know, we hear so much about that, but it's become something you've gotten very, very serious about it.
Good.
Give me an idea of how you recycle. And basically, you recycle everything that's...
We recycle 100% of our industrial byproducts. Nothing goes to a landfill.
Talk to me a little bit about your passion for the environment and why you focus so heavily on recycling here.
If you don't shoot for the ideal, you'll never even come close to it. And I started to realize, because I'm a numbers guy and I'm looking at what's going on, that what we're doing is not sustainable. And so, granted, what I'm doing here is not going to solve the problems of the world, but at least I'm doing my part to try and mitigate some of it.
Where do you see this company going in the future? What are your plans for it?
We're working on some new product lines to come out with that seem to have a lot of promise. I'd like to do more of what we do now. I think we're very efficient at it. We're getting a lot of customers by word of mouth. You know, people, if you do a good job, people will recommend you.
The amazing story of Allied Converters, carrying on a tradition started here way back in 1954 and still going strong, thanks to the fact that Richard Ellenbogen took his father's advice and stuck with plastics. I'm Doug Llewellyn reporting from New Rochelle, New York.